Section 7 of Food Values by Dr. Albert Philip Sy. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Fruit. Apples are undoubtedly the most popular fruit in America. Their fuel value, which is due principally to carbohydrates, is quite low, and they are not a rich food. Like other fruits, although no medicinal substances have been found in apples, they are of special value to the diet on account of vitamins, mineral substances, and their agreeable flavor, which act as a stimulant to digestion. Their popularity is due principally to the pleasant flavor or variety of flavors in the different kinds of apples, and also to the fact that they can be eaten raw or prepared in an almost endless number of ways and combinations. They can be grown almost anywhere in America. Bananas are one of the richest of the fresh foods and consist principally of carbohydrates and water. Like apples, they have an agreeable flavor, and ordinarily they are a cheap fruit. They would be more popular and cheaper if they could be more extensively raised in this country. Bananas, when eaten raw, no doubt supply growth essentials. Figs are a rich food, richer than bread or meat, and about the same as beans. Their food value is due mainly to carbohydrates, mostly sugar. They are supposed to possess special therapeutic qualities, but so far, no medicinal components have been found in them. Strawberries have very little food value. They are eaten as a relish and play no important part in our dietary as a food. Composition of food materials. Apple, edible portion. Water, 84.6. Protein, 0.4. Fat, 0.5. Carbohydrates, 14.2. Ash, 0.3. Fuel value, 285 calories per pound. Dried fig, edible portion. Water, 18.8. Protein, 4.3. Fat, 0.3. Carbohydrates, 74.2. Ash, 2.4. Fuel value, 1,435 calories per pound. Strawberry, edible portion. Water, 90.4. Protein, 1.0. Fat, 0.6. Carbohydrates, 7.4. Ash, 0.6. Fuel value, 175 calories per pound. Banana, edible portion. Water, 75.3. Protein, 1.3. Fat, 0.6. Carbohydrates, 22.0. Ash, 0.8. Fuel value, 445 calories per pound. Fruit continued. Grapes have a greater food value and are nearly as popular as apples. Their carbohydrate content and their flavor make them both a food and a relish. Unfortunately, they are much more perishable than apples. Raisins are dried grapes. They are concentrated food and in fuel value rank with dried figs and beans. Canned fruit contains considerable water and is, therefore, not a rich food. Its food value is due to fruit sugar and the sugar added in canning. It is consumed in enormous quantities, ordinarily as a relish. Fruit jelly, on account of its high sugar content, is a rich food. It is popularly considered a relish, and when used as such, only small amounts should be eaten. Grape juice has no appreciable food value. It is used as a relish on account of its flavor. Composition of food materials. Grapes, edible portion. Water, 77.4. Protein, 1.3. Fat, 1.6. Carbohydrates, 19.2. Ash, 0.5. Fuel value, 435 calories per pound. Raisins, edible portion. Water, 14.6. Protein, 2.6. Fat, 3.3. Carbohydrates, 76.1. Ash, 3.4. Fuel value, 1,560 calories per pound. Grape juice, unfermented. Water, 79.7. Protein, 0.2. Carbohydrates, 20.3. Ash, 0.3. Fuel value, 370 calories per pound. Canned fruit. water 77.2, protein 1.1, fat 0.1, carbohydrates 21.1, ash 0.5. Fuel value 405 calories per pound. Fruit jelly, water 21.0, carbohydrates 78.3, ash 0.7. Fuel value 1,415 calories per pound. Nuts. Peanuts. The composition and food value of peanuts are probably a surprise to most people. Peanuts are among the richest and cheapest of our foods, although generally not considered a food. They contain considerable more protein than does meat. They resemble cheese in their high fat and protein content, while their carbohydrate percentage is considerably higher. Of the vegetable proteins, those contained in peanuts are among the most complete. Peanut butter, as shown in the chart, contains less water and more fat than peanuts, and therefore possesses a higher food value. When peanut butter is made by simply grinding peanuts, it has the same food value as the latter. Walnut kernels contain a considerable amount of the three components, especially fat. Their high food value is due to the presence of the latter. Like all other rich foods, walnuts should be eaten sparingly, otherwise they might cause digestive disturbances, which frequently lead people to believe that such foods are hard to digest. Chestnuts are a starchy food. Coconut dried, sometimes called shredded coconut, is a rich food, mainly on account of its high fat content. Composition of food materials. Walnut. Water 2.5, protein 16.6, fat 63.4, carbohydrates 16.1, ash 1.4. Fuel value 3,180 calories per pound. Chestnut. Water 5.9, protein 10.7, fat 7.0, carbohydrates 74.2, ash 2.2. Fuel value 1,820 calories per pound. Peanut. Water 9.2, protein 25.8, fat 38.6, carbohydrates 24.4, ash 2.0. Fuel value 2,485 calories per pound. Peanut butter. Water 2.1, protein 29.3, fat 46.5, carbohydrates 17.1, ash 5.0. Fuel value 2,735 calories per pound. Coconut, desiccated. Water 3.5, protein 6.3, fat 57.4, carbohydrates 31.5, ash 1.3. Fuel value 3,025 calories per pound. Functions and uses of food. Constituents of food. Food as purchased contains edible portion, flesh of meat, yolk and white of eggs, wheat flour, etc. Refuse, bones, entrails, shells, bran, etc. In the edible portion, water and nutrients. Under nutrients, protein, fats, carbohydrates, mineral matter or ash. Use of food in the body. Protein builds and repairs tissue. White, the albumin of eggs, curd or casein of milk, lean meat, gluten of wheat, etc. Fats are stored as fat. Fat of meat, butter, olive oil, oils of corn and wheat, etc. Carbohydrates are transformed into fat. Sugar, starch, etc. Protein, fats, carbohydrates all serve as fuel to yield energy in the forms of heat and muscular power. Mineral matter or ash share in forming bone, assists in digestion, etc. Phosphates of lime, potash, soda, etc. Food is that which, taken into the body, builds tissue or yields energy. Dietary standards. Dietary standard for man in full vigor at moderate muscular work. Condition considered. Food as purchased. Protein 150 grams. Energy, 3,800 calories. Condition considered, food eaten. Protein, 100 grams. Energy, 3,500 calories. Condition considered, food digested. Protein, 95 grams. Energy, 3,200 calories. Estimated amount of mineral matter required per man per day. Phosphoric acid, 3 to 4 grams. Sulfuric acid, 2 to 3.5 grams. Potassium oxide, 2 to 3 grams. Sodium oxide, 4 to 6 grams. Calcium oxide, 0.7 to 1.0 grams. Magnesium oxide, 0.3 to 0.5 grams. Iron, 0.006 to 0.012 grams. Chlorine, 6 to 8 grams. End of section 7. End of Food Values by Dr. Albert Phillips Sy.